Future. Future nostalgia.
Nostalgia.
You
No,
want a
I should have done.
timeless song?
I should have done pop girlies.
Hmm.
Pop
Hmm.
girlies.
It kind of sounds like you're a demon when you like have it out of context.
Yeah, I am. It's like that video.
Future.
You know that reaction video? It's you're gonna die in 7 days.
Yes. You post that all the
I
time.
love you're gonna die in 7 days. You're gonna die in 7 days.
Anytime anyone says anything negative about Honora,
You're gonna
You're
die
you're
in
gonna
gonna
die
die
seven
in
in
seven
7
days.
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 I met somebody yesterday at this coffee shop I went to who told me that Demi Moore should have won. You're gonna die in
And you
seven
sent it to
days.
me.
Of course, everywhere you go, you're getting in fights about
About Mikey
more.
Mikey
Madison.
Madison.
Nora.
Like your undying dedication to like getting in fights with anybody who will listen about Honora.
Well, sorry that I'm called to this life. You know, they crucified Jesus too
Yeah.
for spreading the truth. Well, guys, it's the last week of August. You know, I guess you could say that August slipped away into a moment in time.
Because it was never
It
ours.
was never ours. It was never ours. The salt air is no more. The air is not salty anymore.
My door
No.
free of rust.
There's no rust on the door.
You
There's
can
no
get in
more
your
rust.
apartment.
I can leave my apartment now. I haven't left in days.
All
Wait,
right.
Maria, you want to share who's the guest
Well,
today?
yeah, absolutely. So I'm so excited that we have this individual on the podcast today because as you guys have heard, and if you're a longtime listener, you'll have maybe picked up the Easter eggs of us name dropping this person every now and then. So today we have one of my besties in the entire world, Wyatt, here to talk about Future Nostalgia by Dua Lipa.
Yay! Thank you for
Yay!
having me, guys. Hi, welcome. I'm so glad to be on Pop Girlies. Oh my God, this is a dream come true for
You
me.
saying welcome to you being on the podcast?
You're in my world
Welcome.
now.
We're
Yeah, apparently
living.
we are.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
guests.
I own Club Future Nostalgia.
Well, thank
Oh my
God.
You, you're not. I won't be fighting for the deed for that one. That is your property.
Yeah, can the DJ? Yeah, okay, fine, fine.
Who owns
I'll
the
take
air
it.
rights to Club Future Nostalgia?
Who owns the like film rights to Club Future Nostalgia? That's what I want to know.
Right.
Right.
Oh my gosh. Yay. Well, I'm so excited to have Wyatt
Yeah.
here and to talk about this album. Because especially with this one being like a COVID release, I feel like I mean, I don't know how much like I mean, we'll talk about it, but I feel like because it was such like a moment in time and it's such like a dancey album, but we couldn't go anywhere to like experience it. I feel like everyone kind of has like a unique experience with the album.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, I'm like so excited to get
Totes.
into it.
hmm
Totes.
Toads.
Well, should we start with our hot tracks then?
Yar.
Yeah.
Okay, Wyatt, you're the guest of honor.
What's
I
your
go
hottie
first.
Our guest
track?
of honor. What is your hot track?
That's a really great question, guys, and I'm glad you asked because here's what I've been on recently. Very epic R&B. And so what I mean by that is I don't know how I arrived at this, but I did and I'm glad I'm there. There's a song in particular, What You See Is What You Get by The Dramatics. How this hasn't been used in like a trailer or something, I have no idea. It's literally like I like every time I listen to it, I'm like, how is this not like a trailer song? And then the like part two of that is it's a song called "Does Anybody Know I'm Here" by the Dells. And here's the thing, the content of the song, the lyrical content is like a very like like there's a guy who's far away from home and he misses his girlfriend who's also very far away. That's the song. But you would think it's like about like a biblical level battle with like the way everything it's like so loud and it's so epic and very melodramatic. But yeah, walking around New York going into work and listening to that is like that's what gets me in the right headspace because that's what every day feels like. So, anyways, yeah, so
Wait, so
those are
what's your
my
hot track? Which one?
what you see is what you get. I'll go with that.
Slay.
but it's also a jam though. Like that's the thing is you can dance to it pretty well. I believe I
Well,
saw you
thank
live for it.
God. We need a jam.
Well, just the way you said that is just funny. So your life is an
It's such a
epic
jam.
R&B song.
I try and make it feel that way. I'm trying to will it into that. It's not working, but one day it will like actually land. But yeah. No, that's my hot track though. It was
Oh,
been a good
thank
time.
God. Thank
I've
God we know what Wyatt is listening to when he's walking to work.
I'm not
Yeah.
familiar with the work of the Dramatics. I've never heard of
It's a
this
great name.
group of people before.
Yeah, no, I haven't either. I mean, I listen to a lot of weird stuff like Maria knows. Like, there's never a
Yeah.
normal
I
day
mean,
in music
Wait,
listening.
having one eye always on my Spotify friend activity and seeing what Wyatt's up to is like one of my simple joys in life.
wait, the
It's always
Dramatics aren't
foul.
the people who sing Sweet Dreams Are Made of
No,
This.
No, that's
Eurythmics.
yeah,
What?
the
That's
Eurythmics.
that's
very
Oh,
Annie
different.
Lennox. Yeah.
we had it.
Yeah,
Well,
we got
we
it.
had it.
And what isn't it Inks who sings Need You Tonight? INXS.
In
What's
excess.
Need You
In
Tonight?
excess. Oh, that's right. I thought
Well,
their name
in
was Inks
excess
this whole
is
time.
that's like the interpolation for Break My Heart by Dua Lipa.
What a connection.
Yeah,
What
the
a
bum bum
connection.
bum ba na na
God,
na 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 na.
I would say
I
I'm here
need
all
you
week, but I'm not.
tonight.
But
Are you guys
that's
casting a
it's Maria.
spell? What the hell? I can't understand what's going on.
Well, okay, I was just singing the songs that we knew what we were talking about, but go on.
Okay.
Wait, okay, so what is this other the NXS? What is that?
It's
That's the
it's
song that gets interpolated for the Dua
Oh,
Lipa song.
okay, cool. Cool, cool.
Yeah,
We got you, we got you, we got you, we got you. We're on it.
yeah,
Well,
right,
we had it.
Well, who wants to go next?
Why you pick somebody to go?
all right, Maria.
right. So,
Right.
um, I've been listening to lately, well, this past Friday, The Dare released a new EP, a four-track EP, and it's really, really cool. And it's a little bit more instrumental, like it's not as like lyric heavy or like not traditionally structured like a normal song, like his previous album. But the first song on this EP is called Kick, and it's really, really good. And it reminds me specifically of this Disclosure song that's called When a Fire Starts to Burn, that I know Wyatt is familiar with because it did play at my brother's wedding, because that song is like low-key family lore in my family. Um, but it's super similar in that like it has the sample of some sort of like televangelist like dialogue, but it's
Mm.
really, really interesting and it's really fun. And it's got that really kind of like clangy kind of piano in it for like a house track, and it's really, really good. So I'm really into that. So my hot track is Kick by The Dare.
Shout out. That's awesome. Love,
Yes.
love the dare. Love that suit. Does he still wear the suit?
Yeah, yeah. I was at his Lala after show a couple weeks ago.
Flex.
In suit?
He was in a suit? Yeah.
Is he ever not in a suit?
I don't think so.
I don't think I've ever seen him not in a suit.
No. That's like a pretty, like, you have to be pretty dedicated to keep that up as your gimmick, though, especially like playing concerts and
Yeah,
being
no,
hot and
not
sweaty.
me. I don't
Outdoor
like being hot.
venues,
No, not happening.
95 degrees.
No.
So,
No.
so yeah.
Okay, Maria, you pick who's next.
Drew.
Yes. So I have been just like listening to a whole bunch of different things. But my one of my favorite artists, Conan Gray, dropped his album Wishbone, and I feel like it would be a disservice to my music listening experience to not put a song from Wishbone as my hot track. So I'm gonna go with the song My World from Wishbone by Conan Gray. It's so good. So yeah, it's so good. And we'll obviously do the album at a later time, but if if you want to work ahead in your Pop Girlies homework, Give her a listen.
If you want to work ahead in the syllabus, you can
Yeah.
start listening to
Yeah,
Wishbone
yeah,
now.
yeah.
Start your yearning immediately.
We need you to start soon.
Yep.
Is that the album where he's in like a sailor outfit on the cover?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
He's flying, he's in a sailor
He's
outfit
jumping,
Got
flying,
it.
soaring.
with a
Yep.
big bone. Oh, that maybe didn't sound great.
Yeah.
Oh,
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 I
Keep
mean,
that
well,
in.
the bone is big on the cover.
it is.
It's a big bone.
And girl, it's metal.
Uh,
oh, I just noticed that.
um, will work. No, that's a really good song. Uh, I didn't. That's the only song that I know that's been mentioned so far because I didn't know Wyatt's song and I didn't know Maria's song either. So interesting. Well, kind of carrying the theme, I feel like with what everybody else has been saying, I've been listening to a lot of different stuff. Um, Audrey Hobart has a new album out. Audrey Hobart is the best childhood best friend and co-writer of Gracie Abrams, who just started her debut musical era. And that album has like become one of my favorite albums released this year. It's so great. It's called Who is the Clown? Um, and that would have been a song from that would have been my hot track, but one of my all-time favorite artists decided to launch
Oh,
an
yeah.
album. And of course, Pop Girlies listeners, if you know, you know. Orange Juice, if you know, you know. Uh,
Orange drink.
Orange. Oh, I didn't even get it right. Fuck. So I don't know. If I know, I don't.
If you know,
Um,
you don't know.
Forget everything you know.
I'm talking about Everybody Scream,
Everybody's
the
screaming.
titular role, titular track from Florence and the Machine's upcoming album, Everybody Scream, which will be out on Halloween, which is the day after my birthday. But because albums get released in the Central Time Zone at 11 p.m., I will be listening to it for the first time on my birthday, which is very cool. Um, this song is awesome. It like I think is a really great progression from where she was at in Dance Fever, but like we're going into a more like gothic, glam, rock, witchy mode. And it is very, very spooky ooky, witchcraft spells, hypnotic, enchanting,
Girl, we're
just
screaming.
there's something's afoot. It's
Yeah.
very
Mm.
it is awesome. It's
Oh my
awesome. The
God.
outro is so cool. The
Mm.
production is so cool. The video is so cool. Yeah, when I listened to it for the first time, I was convulsing around my room.
Yeah.
Mm.
Committing time theft, convulsing around my room.
Mm.
Literally, my first listen, I had to pause it halfway through to like catch my breath. I was like, this is so
Yeah.
crazy.
It's
I cannot believe
crazy.
it. It's so good.
It might be. I mean, is it her best lead single?
Well, I don't know because also she's weird because she like she technically has like two lead singles for everything because like she has like she'll like release a song first, but then don't won't do any promo for it, and then we'll put all the promo behind the second song that she produces, like releases like it was the lead single. Like she did that
Yeah.
with like Sky Full of Song is technically the lead single off of High as Hope, but Hunger was the one that got like the big release.
Yeah.
Same thing with Ceremonials. What the Water Gave Me is technically the first song that was released, but Shake It Out is like
Yeah.
considered the lead single. So it kind of depends on like what you would like. I don't think it's better than Shake It Out, but Shake It Out is, like a biblical verse
Yeah.
to song. So it's hard.
It's hard.
It's hard. But yeah, I'm just so excited about the album. And the album cover's so cool.
Oh,
Oh,
yes.
I'm
Bella
so
Baxter
obsessed.
T.
Yeah, the album cover's amazing. And it's shot by the same person who shot the Dance Fever photo shoot.
Mm.
I am kind of bummed that like single cover artwork like isn't really a thing anymore.
Me too.
I
Mm.
would love like if there was like single artwork for like Abracadabra, like that would have been a gag for sure. But like
Mm.
I would have loved for Everybody Scream to have like its own single artwork, you know?
Speaking of Abracadabra, my favorite Lady Gaga single cover art is the Judas one where she like made it on her computer and then it's her
It's a
taking a
picture of
picture
her
of the
computer.
screen and like her like screen is dirty and you can like
Yeah.
see her in the reflection.
It's so good.
It's
It's
so
postmodern.
good.
Also, just a quick update, as far as Mayhem Ball bow tracks. It's not looking good, guys. We're not getting bad kids. It's not looking good. Because she's definitely gonna blow through like all of Born This Way while she's in New York. So just wanted to give an update
How
on
long is she in New York?
Just
for
six
like
shows,
three
right?
more shows. Yeah, three or four more
Oh,
shows. And she's been
wow.
doing a song acoustic at the piano and doing a track for the bows. So there's no way that she's leaving New York without having done all of
Okay,
Born This
maybe
Way.
we're gonna get Joanne. Sinner's Prayer.
If we get Joanne, oh,
But imagine if we get Joanne and we get John Wayne. Like
would you
imagine.
die?
Well, yeah, I would die.
I kind of want the fame.
I mean, I think out of oh gosh, I don't know, probably the fame. But like imagine
No,
if
you probably wouldn't you want Chromatica? Because don't you like Chromatica more than the Fame?
I don't I don't I don't know about that. I don't know.
Oh, I
We've
just thought
had
that's
this
what you said
conversation
to me
a
the other
billion
day.
times and it's I have a hard time ranking it, but imagine though if we get like Fame Monster and then it's like Teeth. I don't know.
That'd be gag.
I would gag for
Whoa.
that.
Yeah, I mean, I'd gag.
Hey, so happy I could die.
I'd gag for
Hey.
I'd gag for Dance in the Dark. I would gag
Oh
so
my
hard for Dance
God.
in the Silicone.
Saline,
But yes, because I don't know,
poison.
because before she gets to Chicago, she's doing Toronto and Miami.
Yeah, that's not
So,
gonna be good for us.
girl, we're getting
Oh my
we will
God,
get
going back to the scene of the crime in Miami where the Rain on Me thunderstorm. I love
they
that
get Angel
video.
down for every single bow track. Okay, okay. Just
uh
wanted to mention that because it's topical, at least
Yeah.
with me.
very
Mhm.
topical. Yeah.
Well,
And
it's
let's
topical for Maria.
well,
Yeah, that's what I just said. All
well,
right.
shall we be future
Shall we get into
nostalgic?
it?
Yeah. Okay. So, Wyatt, do you want to start to get into the album background for
The
Future Nostalgia?
lore? Yeah. Okay, listen up, everybody. So this is Future Nostalgia 101. So the year, let's all go back. You're gonna come back to time and come back in time with me to 2019. Great time because there wasn't COVID yet. That's literally the only qualifier. Dua Lipa has released a self-titled album called Dua Lipa: The Complete Edition. Great opener. Like great introduction to Dua Lipa. I don't know if it was 2019 or 2018 was when she did the Google commercial for the Google phone. Do you guys remember this? And it was
No, I
like
don't.
this is how I first found out Dua Lipa existed. Was there was like a in the commercial there's like a big camera push inside a store and Dua Lipa is wearing like a tracksuit and is like looking at like her phone and it's a Google phone. And I remember being like, "Who is that?" And I was like, "I don't know who that is." I was like, "Oh, it's Dua Lipa." So anyways, so 2019 is going crazy. And in fall of 2019, she drops Don't Start Now, which is, I mean, we'll get into Don't Start Now. Come on now. And that we ride that wave. We ride that
Yeah.
wave through the holidays of 2019, and then we ride that into early 2020. And we're going, you know what? Dua Lipa's coming out with a new album this year. It's apparently called Future Nostalgia, formerly titled Glass House, but now it's called Future Nostalgia. What does that even mean? This is going to be wild. Each single being released is like really solid, physical with the whole exercise video is really fun. Like it's got this really unique vibe. She's changed her hair. It's crazy. Um, and then COVID hits. And the album comes out at basically the same time we all go into lockdown, which is just like immaculate timing. And I want to use this opportunity to open up the discussion of like kind of what Maria was talking about in terms of like where everybody was at when Future Nostalgia came out with like COVID lockdowns and everything. Because I remember there was that like I don't know if it was like a month or something, but it was like a month-long period where like companies like didn't quite figure out how to do like remote broadcasts yet. So there was a lot of like really like busted programming that was like clearly like screen recorded off of like Skype when Skype was still around. And it was there was specifically I remember Dua Lipa had she was supposed to do a promo on Jimmy Fallon. And so she sang Break My Heart, but instead of like singing it, she's like sitting down in front of a green screen with the music video playing behind her, and she's like doing the choreography from the music video just with her hands. If you haven't seen it, it looks like she's in like a bunker somewhere being held hostage. And that's not Dua Lipa's fault. That's just where we were at in the world at that time. But I remember watching that and just being like, this is literally the end of the world. But anyways, so but here's the thing, that album was a very like this album, and just to open it up a bit, is like there's a very positive thing that came around in that time with a lot of really like scary things going on at that time. This was definitely a huge bright spot, especially when it got warm and then we could listen to this album outside and running around. So, Maria, what was your experience with Future Nostalgia during COVID?
Yeah, well, I was really excited about it because I really liked the singles. Like Physical was definitely my favorite of the singles, and that made me
Mm,
really excited. I wasn't like a huge fan of hers. Just like I hadn't really like just listened to her stuff intentionally, like with her first album. I had heard,
mm,
of course, heard New Rules like a billion times because it was so
mm,
popular.
mm,
Um, and yeah, but I like with the singles and like the way that she was like so specifically stylized for the era, like I just thought it was really, really cool. So yeah, I really loved Physical, and that kind of really got me invested into the album rollout and everything. And then, of course, COVID happens, and we were in Chicago at the time, like for undergrad. But then I went home to Michigan when COVID hit. So, like, so much of like when I think of these songs, I just envision myself in my childhood bedroom at night, just like listening to the tracks. And
yep.
for me during COVID, it was so like so much of what I was doing was just going back and forth between Future Nostalgia and Chromatica. Like
Mm,
those two albums for me, especially both being like dance pop albums,
right.
were like that for me, they were just like so intertwined. Just because the vibe was pretty similar and like sonically they were very similar too. Um, so yeah, I feel like that was my like COVID experience of just like listening to those two albums in tandem. And then I think I remember while COVID was still happening too, was like when they had started doing SNL again. And she was one of
Mm,
the musical. I can't remember if she did double duty. I think she might have just been the musical guest.
mm,
But she performed Levitating, I think, and she was wearing like that big like feather hat. Or was it a hat or was it the dress? I can't remember, but like her performance was just like so, so cool.
mm,
Uh,
mm,
but that was when I got like really invested in her like as an artist and also just like a cool person. I mean, I know we've talked
mm,
about this before, but like she's so cool to the level of just like there's nothing left for anyone else. Like she absorbed all of the
mm,
cool factor and there's no cool left for anybody else.
mm,
So I feel like that allure of her just like being like very cool, like this chic person is just like really fascinating for me.
mm.
But yeah, so that's my COVID experience with the album.
No, that's valid. That's valid. Drew and Levi, were you guys listening to this album when it came out during COVID?
Yes.
That's
Um,
awesome.
yeah, I think we both were, right?
Would you
Yeah.
want to say where you were? Where were you?
Yeah. So I think we were all home, right? By the point that she dropped it, right? Like, I mean, I think because she
Yeah,
was supposed to drop it and then it leaked, and so she had that really viral Instagram live where she's crying because it leaked and then
yeah.
came out shortly after that. Uh but no, I was definitely really into it. I was into the singles like right before COVID. I have a weird experience with Dua because I saw her at like a Jingle Ball thing. Because I went to all the Jingle Balls for Shawn Mendes, because obviously huge Shawn Mendes fanatic over here. Um, I don't know if I've ever talked about liking him before the pod,
You
but
have. You
oh,
have.
okay, perfect. So I went to that and she performed at one of them and it was to the point where I was like, should I go pee? Her performance was just like really bad. So I didn't have a lot of hope for, what was gonna happen. I just think there was a lot of like her performance was her just walking around with two girls on both sides of her, and she was just like adjusting her like straps to her like cocktail dress the whole time and like not really singing. And so I was like, okay, like I don't know how much she's gonna be around. Um, and then this was like the full 180 crazy. I mean, it was like she literally like stepped up her game to the highest level. Um, and so I got really into it. I really loved like the hair and I loved the singles and I loved like the media that came with it, like the physical video I really loved, the Don't Start Now video I like. So yeah, I was really here for it. Um, that's kind of when I got into it.
So yeah, I mean, I listened to it the morning that it came out. I was aware of the live stream video. So this was kind of a weird time. Well, obviously, because COVID had happened, but I had given up Lent. No, I'd given up social media for Lent. And so I didn't have access to anything, which, like, God, if I wish I could have been on Twitter for one time, it would have been when COVID hit. I'm sure I missed out on like God tier tweets. But
I
so
I think you're okay.
I was really removed from everything. But I knew that the album leaked. I obviously knew that it was coming out. Yeah, like I had like enjoyed the singles, especially Don't Start Now and Physical. And I listened to it the morning it came out, and I didn't really listen to it much again after that. I feel like when people talk about COVID albums, to me, the two obvious ones are this album, Future Nostalgia, and then a few months later, Folklore. And to me, those are like kind of like the two different approaches that so many people had to like music consumption. Because on one hand, you have an album like Folklore, which was created in the pandemic, and it's this just very like emotional, sensitive, escapist kind of world. And you just listen to the album, you feel your feelings, you let your imagination run wild. And then this album is an escape in a different way. It's like a release of everything that you have pent up by dancing. And that's just not where I was when COVID was happening. I was really sad to be having to leave school and to have to go back home for a bit. I was just very upset. I was very just not in the place to be, bopping around. So
Mm,
it didn't really, I think, land with me in the COVID context and the way that it landed with a lot of people, but I'm happy that it had that effect on so many people because I think it's really cool that this album has taken on a life the way that it has because I think it absolutely was an outlet for so many
mhm.
people during COVID. Um, it just was not for me.
No, that's fair. No, I get leaning into folklore and like running that
Like
way with
that
it.
and like Fetch the Bolt Cutters, Fiona Apple, and
Mm,
Punisher, Phoebe Bridgers, and
those are
Women
amazing.
in Music Part 3 by Haim. Like that was where
Mm,
my vibe was. And some Sawayama. That was where I got Rina Sawayama's debut album, which is amazing. That's where I
mm,
got my pop stuff. But then that's still pretty heavy, like thematically.
hmm
This just wasn't the like big, brash, dancey, groovy vibe, just was not where I was at.
hmm
So
I get it.
yeah,
That makes
that's my
sense.
COVID experience.
Cool. Cool. But yeah, so that was the like I think that's like the history of the album pretty well summed up by the four of us. So I don't know what's next, Maria.
Well, usually after we do our album background, we kind of go around and do like our individual like thoughts and how we feel about it and how we like it and all of that sort of stuff. So yeah, we could kind of do that. I know we kind of already shared like kind of like our places and times of when it had come out.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean, I do you want to start Wyatt, or maybe we can start with me. We can go back around of like how we feel about the album and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, let's start with you.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah. Yeah, I mean, as I think most people know, and especially if you have listened to the show before, that I usually lean to danceable music most of the time, or stuff that is just like a little bit more fun. I'm not like the lyrics for me aren't going to be like the primary thing that's going to draw me to music in general. And especially over the last like 4 or 5 years even, like after this and Chromatica had come out, I've gotten a lot more into like house music. And I feel like that sounds really pretentious, but like not in like a crazy way where it's like, oh, you can't even imagine the house music I'm listening to. Like it's just so cool. Like I'm sure I'm listening to extremely surface level, like house EDM, whatever, but it's just like I've just gotten like really into that kind of vibe. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think this album is such a fun fusion of like contemporary pop, but also like throwback sounds. Like it has obviously a huge disco influence. Like I feel like this with the combination of like Say So by Doja Cat, and the what's the weekend album with Blinding Lights? I can't remember what it's called.
Mm.
After Hours.
Yes, yes. I feel like a combination of all of that like really fostered this huge giant trend that's still happening now of artists making their own version of like 70s disco and or 80s like synth pop. And that's just like a huge trend that a lot of artists are riding. And I would definitely say future nostalgia has a huge part to play in that being a trend. It might not be like maybe the first reference or like where someone's brain goes to first when, that's kind of in discussion, but I feel like levitating had a huge part in having that become a trend, kind of similar with Say So by Doja Cat. So yeah, for that, I just think this album is so cool. Aesthetically, it's just so visually interesting, especially with this like really creative way that she had dyed her hair with like the bleach blonde on top and she kept the brunette underneath. Because it just led to so many like really interesting ways that her hair could be styled because it was so like stark in contrast. And she just has this way of her making, like, really setting herself apart from other people visually, just because, like, anything that she's going to wear, how she's going to be styled is just, like, so striking and interesting. So that, for one, like, just, like, really attracts me to, like, her eras in general. Um, but, but yeah, there are moments on this where, like, I don't know, the lyrics are like a little bit clunky, or maybe I don't like particularly favor some of her vocal choices. Like I know I talked about this when we talked about Radical Optimism, but sometimes she leans to do a little bit of like the cursive singing or like letting her voice get like a little bit squeaky on purpose. Like she does it a lot on Cool and on Hallucinate, where she kind of like sings between notes with kind of like a dip that kind of lets her voice squeak a little bit, and it's just like not my fave. Like I and she does it kind of consistently like throughout her music. It's just like a choice that I just don't prefer. But like obviously she can sing however she wants. But there's like little nuances in the details of the album where I'm just like, not my fave, but it's not like it's something I can't overlook. Like I'm still cool with how most of this is constructed. But yeah, every now and then there's like an odd choice where I'm like, I don't know about that. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say. I want to make sure we can hear everyone's thoughts. But overall, I love this album. I hadn't listened to it like consistently for a long time until we like, knew that we were doing it for the podcast. So it was really cool to jump back into it and listen to it through a couple times. And I think the album flows really well too. Like it's a really easy album, just like hit play on the first song and then let it flow through a couple times. I will say though, since I know like the Moonlight Edition tracks are like fair game when it comes to our song rankings, almost all of the deluxe edition tracks are extremely forgettable for me. And it's just kind of like, all right, there's more songs. I just don't know if we needed all of these songs. There's a couple where it's like, oh, so this is groundbreaking and some of the best songs of all time, but most of them are like, girl, whatever. So there we have it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Drew, I
Fantastic.
think you're next.
Yeah, so kind of going off of my kind of exposure to it, um I really liked this at first. But it's kind of been interesting. I feel like as, time has gone by, I feel like the tracks that I like have really shifted. Like I feel like when I first listened to it, um, I was more into like the first half where it's like mostly singles, and then now I'm kind of the more I've listened to it, the more I've really gotten into both halves of it equally. So that's been really cool. I think the main thing that was just so, I mean, like this, I feel like this album is considered to a lot of people, um, like a huge like pop Bible. Like I think a lot of, especially in like the gay community, I think a lot of people really cling to this one, and I feel like that's something that makes it so, important. Like I think this is a huge album for like us to be doing. Uh, and then another thing that was so interesting, it kind of, in a way, and I don't know, I mean, I think maybe Levi would have something to say about this too. I think it was kind of interesting because you really kind of saw, and maybe I think COVID had a lot to do with it, but her, this album has an 88 on Metacritic, which is like crazy high for a pop album like this. And I think like there's a way of like poptimism, but like COVID poptimism. So like I don't know how you could like merge the two together, but I feel like that was something that was so rare for an album like this. I feel like a lot of people who wanted to kind of like cling to uh like kind of what Levi was saying, who wanted to go back to the clubs to dance, really like really rode hard for this in a really cool way because like Chromatica came out as well, but obviously Chromatica I don't think got the same amount of like critical acclaim as this one does. I mean, this album got nominated for Album of the Year at the Grammys. It won Pop Vocal Album at the Grammys over like huge albums like Folklore, Chromatica. I mean, this album was seen as like I feel like it was probably seen as the pop album to come out of COVID. So I thought that was really cool. And then I also thought the whole era of it too, because because this could have really fallen after, we all got back out after a year of listening to this, when we were all in lockdown. And she really did a good job at like almost reviving the era back, because then she did the full like what a pop girly would do, like do a whole arena tour, really bask in it. Because then we also got the Levitating remix with DaBaby, who was obviously like canceled, but um, yeah, I think this era in particular was just really interesting, and it's really cool how I mean, obviously Radical Optimism didn't live up to this album in the grand scheme of like success, but it's really cool how an album that came out in like literally like March 27th when we were all locked down, it came out and it created this like new pop girl, because she was not in the front of like I think this album could have easily fallen off and she could not be famous. Like I think there's a world where that happens. So I just think this era in particular for like a female pop artist is just really intriguing. And then obviously Marie and I went to the tour, which was so good, and she did such a good job.
So
And
good.
I was
Her
really
live
not
shows,
expecting that. So
yeah, her live shows are mixed so well.
yeah,
And as we know, there's the Club Future Nostalgia like remix album of this, and the live set list includes some of those remix versions, but even more like samples of other songs that maybe aren't even included on that remix album. And it was just like really, really awesome to see how that show
yeah.
was constructed. So yes, like yes, Drew, as you were saying.
Yeah, so it was just I think the era of the album is what really like sets it over for me. I love all the visuals. I loved the tour. I loved seeing someone like really rise to pop. Like it reminds me honestly a lot of like Katie's come up on her sophomore album, just like putting out an album with just so many hits that received like a universal reach. Like I feel um like obviously I was in Kansas City at the time of lockdown, and I feel like the spread of it, I mean, I remember there were a lot of like straight people that I went to high school with that were talking about this album, and I feel like that is just really interesting for like her niche. I mean, I feel like she could have easily just fallen off, and not have had it just because her album came out in lockdown and it was all dance music. But yeah, so I think it's really cool. And I'll get into more of like my tracks, but yeah, that's kind of all what I wanted to say.
That was fantastic, Drew.
Thank
That was
you.
awesome. I liked it.
Thank you, Wyatt.
Yeah, I love the album a lot, obviously. I've listened to it a lot over the years. Just as it's like it just always hits the exact like niche you're looking for, whether you're like busy working or you're literally like at a wedding. I can't tell you how many weddings I've been to where like Levitating starts blasting and like everybody like rushes at the dance floor. And I love the like production on it, and I think it's just such I can't even begin to explain. It's just like how fun the album is. It's just like to Drew's point, it kind of hit a note, or it sort of struck a nerve with people that like I don't think people even knew wanted, like people didn't even know that it was going to like hit the way it did, and that we needed it as much. And yeah, it's again, it was like I remember it's like at that time, like leaving my house for like the first time during lockdown and like walking, like literally going for walks and stuff, and like would listen to this album like cover to cover or the whatever the equivalent of that is. Um and it like Drew was also saying, it's like my favorite tracks would flip a lot. Like my first standouts when I first listened to it, like flipped completely on subsequent listens. Um and yeah, it's a very great album to just lose yourself in. And it always, like Maria was saying, it brings you to a very specific time and place of when you like first listened to it and when you first like experienced it. And again, also with like it reaching though as wide of an audience it did, it's like, oh, my parents now are like, oh, Dua Lipa, it's like, and like they're even like now aware of it, and like her, like she just continued to expand. Um and I also think that it's just like there's some like choices on the album, like Love Again. I know we'll get into that later, but it's just like there's just I think like surprisingly bold choices, especially for a pop album, in terms of influences and uh production. And yeah, I really, really like love it. It's like it's not I would love to be able to speak to it on like a very like technical level or like a cultural level like Drew and Maria did. But like honestly, it's sort of just like any great love. It's also just very simple. It's just like I just simply love the album. I don't like there's not a lot to it. It's just like, yeah, I love it. It's really great. It's really fun. And in the my sort of like arc of pop albums, it really did like get me into more like pop music at the time. And I still hold it up as one of my favorite pop albums. I've not seen her live though, so I would love to hear the mix live and see how it sounds. But anyways, yes, that is my experience. I know that was a brief review, but yeah, it's so fun. It's so great. Levi, what about
Yay.
you?
Well, I hate to be the black sheep, but it's a Dua Lipa episode. And for those of you who listen to Radical Optimism episode, you might be having an idea of where this is going. So we're going to start out positive. I think what I find so admirable about this era is I think that it's easy right now in 2025 to think of Dua Lipa as, this glamorous, dancey, beautiful, confident, sexy pop star, the way that we kind of perceive her. But I think kind of doing what Wyatt did earlier, going back to the beginning of Future Nostalgia and before it came out. So she broke in America in like 2017. Her first breakthrough single in America was New Rules. That was her first Billboard Top 100. New Rules, I think, is a great song. I really like that song. And I like a few songs off of her debut album, but she wasn't really known as an entity in the way that she became known with Future Nostalgia. To me, what she was kind of most noteworthy for, especially in the States, was the Dula Peep meme. Wendy Williams mispronouncing her name and calling her Dula Peep. And then that viral video of her performing at, I don't know what festival, but of her in that like fuck ass bob doing her like horrible dance. And it's like so bizarre looking. She looks like one of those like big wavy things at like a car sale lot. That was how Dua Lipa was thought of. And so I think it's important just kind of for context to note that because I think it serves to really emphasize how big of a gag it was. Like when she was on the Brit Awards doing Don't Start Now at the beginning of this era, and she was doing insane choreography and she was killing it. And like this to me is an example of an artist who worked really, really hard, who took feedback and criticism and took the note, applied it, and improved herself. This to me is like a complete level up in terms of artistic vision, ambition, resources, and execution. And I think that really needs to be applauded. I think that she worked really, really hard in dance studios to become the performer that she is now. In this album, in this whole era, because she did a lot of these like virtual performances. She performed at the Grammys this year, and that performance was great. And it just really kind of felt like a victory lap of all this hard work that she put in. So I think that should be noted. That's something I find incredibly admirable about this era and about her as an artist. I think that she's a really, really hard worker. Um, I also love the visuals for this album. I think that this is one of the best album covers of the decade. It's absolutely incredible. The same photographer who shot this also shot the visuals for Pang by Caroline Polachek, which is another one of my favorite album photo shoots, and I love that cover as well. There's just something so interesting about these photos. I mean, you have this outfit that she's wearing, the car, the moon in the background. It like is suggestive of like real things, but it's also kind of surreal looking. There's a quality to the photos. They're kind of like a little textured and grainy. There's like painted backdrops in some of the photos. There's like props. They're just so cool. And give such a distinctive look to the era that I love. And I loved her with this hair. I think this is probably the blonde and the brown. That's probably my fave hairstyle of her. I do like the red, but I love the blonde and the brown hair. I think it's so cool. Getting into the album itself. So yeah, I mentioned that, this wasn't something that I really came back to a lot in COVID. Um, for the reasons that I mentioned earlier. First listen, I wasn't wowed by this. And I need to say that like this is not an album that is designed for me. Kind of going off of what Maria was talking about. Anybody who listens to Pop Girlies know that I'm really drawn to songwriting and to lyricism. That's kind of the way that I approach music. And that's just not really what this album is. This just isn't that type of a record. Uh, and so it just didn't really click for me. And it became, I would say this like kind of cultural phenomenon, and it became one of the most acclaimed albums of the year, like Drew mentioned. And I was just kind of like, I really don't get it. Like, I remember being with people or talking with people and being like, what am I not hearing? And I would listen to it quite a bit for an album that like I wasn't really in love with because I just wanted to understand. Nobody likes to be the one person at the party who like doesn't get something. Like when it seems like everybody around you is celebrating this like existence of this thing, like you want to join, you want to be able to celebrate it as well. Um, so the record, yeah, I think the production is really, really excellent. I think it's incredibly well done. I think it's incredibly crisp and very clean. I think the bass playing on here, the bass lines are so cool. It's incredibly groovy. This concept of future nostalgia, taking old sounds and then kind of reinvigorating them with in a modern lens. Like I think this musically captures that completely. Um, I think my struggle with this album, and it's a struggle that I have with her as an artist, is Drew is so right when he says that this album is viewed as a pop Bible. I think it completely is. Not for me, it isn't, but it totally is for so many people. But when I think of, Pop Bible, that phrase gets tossed around to albums like 1989, Teenage Dream, Fame Monster. Like those are three that are almost always considered pop Bibles. And I think the difference between an album like Fuchsia Nostalgia and, those albums, or you could, switch in for any like major big album by a big pop star. Those albums have such a distinct character and personality. Like Teenage Dream is frothy, campy, silly, sugary. The Fame Monster is darker, it's edgier, it's weirder. And then 1989 is like classic Taylor songwriting, specific details. You can see this thing that she's talking about, storytelling, like there's such unique characteristics and personality traits all those records have. To me, that's like what makes a pop era really get elevated. I struggle to find that with this album. Like, I just don't necessarily see these songs as like being incredibly unique, as like Dua Lipa is the only person who could make this album. Um, I think there are some very good songs in here. Uh, but to me, it doesn't really gel completely. I also am not a fan of the way that the album is constructed. I think that the last two songs, I'll get into one of those two with my me, but I've always thought they just felt completely tacked on, like out of nowhere, we're getting bad, 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 mess, bad, head. And I remember listening to the first time, I was like, what's happening? And then Boys Will Be Boys, I was like, huh? What what album is playing right now? Like this has nothing to do with anything we've been talking about. And like that to me kind of it points to this problem that I have of like I don't know like if she had something specifically she was trying to say, and it's okay if she didn't. Like I I think she wanted to create this vibey, dancey record. I think she did that. Very successful, obviously. It was a huge hit, sold millions of records, number one singles, won Grammy. Like I get that I'm in the minority. I just don't think it is as interesting to me as other pop records that have the same quality, but also have like a unique personality, distinctive character. I mean, I kind of mentioned this earlier, but Sawayama, that album by Rina Sawayama, which was released in April 2020, very much more eclectic musically, but like that's a pop album that is so poppy. The melodies are so infectious. Her vocal performance is incredible. The production is awesome, but like it's also so specific and she's singing from such a unique perspective and the songs are so interesting lyrically. I just struggle sometimes to grab onto things with this. But there are songs that I enjoy. I think it's really cool that this album's had the life that it's had. I just think with Dua, she's just one of those people that I want to get and I want to be a supporter and I love, but I just don't. I have to be honest. It would be an affront to Pop Girlies' ethical code of journalism to say that I am frothing at the mouth. So those are my thoughts. Um, Sorry to hold my hand tank, but I have to be true to myself.
That was very brave, Levi.
Thank
I
you.
really, I,
Well,
re- I
So brave
really
of you.
appreciate it.
That was
thank
great.
you
Yeah,
very
yeah,
much. Thank you
yeah.
very
That was
much.
that was really brave. No,
Thank
and
you.
I mean, like, I can't like disagree with a lot of like what you're saying, right? And I mean, a lot of it comes down to personal connection.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. Absolutely.
and like there are tons of examples of stuff that like does it. I think all of us, I mean, Maria and I, also over COVID, I won't say the name of the movie, but you and I like had very differing views on a very specific popular movie. And you and I, like, I remember we sat in your backyard and for like 20 minutes went like back and forth, being like, no, no, I just think that, like, and it just like, that's valid. Like, I think that's like completely
Wait,
valid
I
to
want to know
like,
the movie. What movie?
Yeah, what movie
We'll
was
we'll
it?
we'll say it off mic. But it
Just
was
say it.
Just say it.
no, 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 no,
Why
no, no.
no?
No, this is public. So
We'll put it in the
we
Are
description.
you, wait, why? I'm guessing that you're the person who doesn't like the movie
correct. Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
you don't
yeah,
want
yeah.
to catch heat. Understood.
Correct. Correct. Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
Is
yeah.
it is this a film in the MCU?
I'm not gonna go any further into details.
Okay.
Well,
So
if
no,
it
no,
is,
no.
just know that I probably don't have as strong of feelings anymore.
But it's not even about now to then. What I'm saying is just like it's okay. Like I totally understand, like
Yeah.
honestly, and like
Yeah.
it's a very universal experience to just, and it's also like lonely, you know, like when you are like not in love with something that it feels like everybody's in love with, and you're just like, oh, sorry, like I
It
just like,
sucks. I'm the same
yeah,
way with Billie Eilish. Anybody, I
mm,
want to get Billie so bad and I don't.
mm.
It's not for me. I've tried so hard and it like
You're the bad guy.
I
Sorry.
that
That got
was
me.
a
That got me.
that was
That
a
was a pop.
come on, Babe
You,
Ruth. That was
Yep.
home
yeah,
run.
yeah. You made me pop. No, no, no. Yeah, 100%. But what? Okay, is this when we get into tracks? Is this when
Yes.
we?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, okay. All right. Yeah, I'll let
Yeah.
you guys lead the charge on that.
Yeah. So first we'll do our least favorite tracks, which we call our me's in honor of Me by Taylor Swift. So
Mm.
The worst song
uh,
of all time.
the worst song of all time. So since I can start, since we kind of went around the table and I went first, but well, actually, Wyatt, would you prefer to do the least favorites first and then go into the top three? Or would you
Yeah.
want to do all the least favorites and then the favorites, or do
Let's
it
do
all?
least. Let's do least favorites and then top three. I feel like will yield the most destruction.
Yeah. Okay. So, my least favorite song from this album has always been the same, and it doesn't matter how forgettable any of the other Moonlight Edition tracks are. My me will always be "Boys Will Be Boys."
Second.
All,
Seconded.
it'll always be "Boys Will Be Boys." Admirable sentiment for sure, but the song is hokey and it is corny boots and it's not fun to listen to. However, and I know, well, maybe I won't get too ahead of myself and speak on behalf of anybody else, but the Club Future Nostalgia remix of Boys Will Be Boys is actually quite fun. And that was played live during the concert, which was super cool. And I had no idea it was good until that moment when it was playing live. But yeah, this song is just like a little bit crazy, and I completely forgot that there's a children's choir on this song.
It's
Mm.
heinous.
It's this what? It's just like so beyond crazy. Because it's funny also when because like listening to it, it immediately made me think of the like children's chorus that's on Billions by Caroline Polachek. And I was like, wow. It's crazy the like spectrum of like how corny it can sound when you add children's vocals or how immaculate angelic it can sound.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
so yeah, I kind of have strong feelings about this song. But I again, it's like admirable. It's an admirable thing to write a song about. It's not like what she's saying is false. It's just it came across extremely corny to me. So yeah, there we go.
That's
Drew?
valid.
My turn. My me is also Boys Will Be Boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that all
And
four of
but
ours?
I love the remix.
Yeah,
But
very
for
much.
all the
Mm.
same reasons, I think you hit it. It's just very corny, hokey pokey. It's also like it was I feel like the sentiment of it was like to try to have that like purposeful song at the end of the album to like do that, and it just wasn't. It came off really hokey. So I think it was just horrible execution. Um, so yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Olivia Rodrigo did that too at the end of her first album, right? Where it's like the last song is
Oh
like
yeah, hope you're okay. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And I mean like I feel like there's versions of that on everything, right?
Yeah.
Like especially of like a pop Bible, like 1989 Clean is like a really good example of that. Like not like the movies Teenage Dream.
I think
Mm,
okay, my me is also Boys Will Be Boys. The issue
mm,
here is that those songs that Drew just mentioned, those things are all earned because they're tied back in thematically to what the album is talking about. Clean is the, final piece of the story of this relationship that she's been getting over. Not Like the Movies is kind of the antithesis of everything that came before, kind of like poking the balloon. Um, the problem here is that, again, incredible sentiment. Yeah, true. It has nothing the fuck to do with anything that is happening. Like, why are we talking about this? This is not, has not been spoken about at all. There has not been a ballad at all. So this is both the cliche of big cheesy ballad as the final track and big socio-political commentary moment and a pop song. Musically, why are there strings? Didn't know that this was an orchestral album. Okay. The lyric "boys will be boys, but girls will be women" is something that an 11-year-old would come up with and be like, I am just invented feminism. Like, it is so elementary and basic. It's almost insulting to sell to the audience as profound. It is, I hate the melody. I hate everything of the sun goes down. It's like, why are we in a fucking ballet? This is so stupid. It's like, I mean, even Good in Bed, I think, is a little hokey pokey as well. But at least that we're still grooving. We're still talking about fucking, which is what we've been talking about this whole time. But nobody was talking about this. And Drew and I have personal trauma with this.
Oh yeah,
We were involved in a conversation in
yeah.
college. I will not be saying anything that anybody could know who this is about, but somebody tried to tell us that when we pushed back in the song, well, first we were said, you don't get the song because you guys are men, which is like, you know, that's true. Like, this theme and message will resonate differently for people who are women. I understand that. But I can have an opinion about a song being good, like constructed well or not. And when we try to say, but it's not a very good song, we were met with, well, but that's on purpose because it's meant to show you how horrible the reality of living as a woman is, that it's supposed to be jarring and not sound good. So it's like your argument is that the song sounds bad on purpose and is a bad song on purpose. No. I This isn't fucking performance art. I do not think Dua Lipa is making a song that is bad on purpose. I think she thought she served, and it was nothing like that. It was nothing of the sort.
Nothing of the sort.
No. I hate this song. I promise I will be nice and positive with my Holy Trinity, but this song pisses me off. It is everything I hate about like a pop album in one song.
It's yeah, well, it's like if you ended the Oscars with the in memoriam. It's like valid, but like this is a wild way to end it, you know? It's like it's
Yeah.
so like the way I always have felt about it, and spoiler, Boys Will Be Boys is mine as well, is like its placement on the album specifically, and I should say its inclusion as well. It's like if you walk in to Club Future Nostalgia, right? And it's like you're all glammed up or whatever. And then Levi, could you give us a future? Could you give us one of those?
Future
You
nostalgia.
hear you hear that and you're like this is going to be a great time. And for the next like 45 minutes, you're just cruising. You're just having a great time, you're dancing, you're like getting it all out on the floor. It's great. And then you're like, "You know what? In this with however like the laws of physics work for Club Future Nostalgia, you're like it's 6 a.m. It's time to go home. Club's closing. And so you're like walking out the door and you're hoping that what's playing is something that will allow you to just sort of like dance into the sunrise. And instead it's like, hey, I just need to talk to you for a quick second about something really serious. And you're like, oh, okay. And again, very valid, very legitimate thing to like discuss and talk about and bring up. But it's just you're like, Man, I'm just trying to go home. Like I'm just trying to like get some sleep. Like I really I think I've like hit my wall here and like I don't really think I can process this right now. So yeah, Boys Will Be Boys is the one specifically. I'd be very curious to hear if there's like another album that's more in the vein of Boys Will Be Boys. I'd be very curious to do an experiment where it's like take that and like plug that into that album and see if it's any better. I don't know. I can't say, but it is what it is. I don't know.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I'm glad we're in global agreement about
Global
being
agreement.
the
Flops will be
worst song.
flops.
Yeah.
So, okay. So now we can get into our holy trinities, our three favorite songs. So we'll start from three and go to one. And I'll go first. So my favorites, if you can imagine, are like the most dancier ones, like kind of with one exception. But my number three is Hallucinate. I love the song. It's so fun. I feel like it's like maybe one of the more like complicated, not complicated, I guess, but like maybe like the most layered of these songs. Like I feel like it's maybe like the most like complex. I just feel like there's a lot going on. I love how like powerful the chorus is. And the imagery is really cool too. And she also released like a lot of cool visualizers for the album when it came out too. Of this kind of like anime, like animated version of her. And it's like super cute and fun. So that always just makes me think of Hallucinate, but I love that song. My number two is Physical. Um, I love the song. It's just like such a strong pop song. Like it's just so good. I think it's fun when like dance tracks have some sort of like call to action in the lyrics, like let's get physical. It's just like so fun. And obviously we're calling back to Miss Olivia Newton-John, so it's just like legendary legend star. So like love that. And my number one is kind of the outlier, but I just think it's like one of the best songs that Dua Lipa has ever released. And it came out before the Moonlight edition came out. It was like a deluxe future nostalgia track before like the deluxe edition, but it's Fever with Angèle, I think is how you pronounce her name.
Mm.
But she's a French pop singer, and this song is so good. Like this is like groundbreaking pop music, to be honest. Like this song is so, so, so good, and I love it. And it's just amazing. The music video is also so chic, but I love this song so much. And of course, Dua being like the vacationing citizen of the world, and can probably speak every language. She speak French, speak or sings in French on this with Angèle, and it's amazing. And I just love every second of it. So this is my favorite song by far from the whole project.
Love.
So yeah.
Fantastic.
My turn.
Yep.
Well, my number three is Fever. I love Fever. Yeah, I just think it's like a perfect pop song. Again, I kind of feel like we were a little bit robbed of a single and like a big kind of moment for it. Yeah, I love Fever. And then my number two is Pretty Please. And it kind of this goes back to what I was talking about when I first listened to the album. Pretty Please was like toward the bottom for me. I don't know what about it, but kind of coming around back to the album and then seeing it live, I just really came around to the song. I think it's really great. I think it's just like a perfect pop song. I think it also could have been a single and have done really well. Um, so yeah. And then my number one is Cool. I
Mm.
think that song is perfect. I think it's a perfect pop song. Um, I like pop girlies listeners would know. I like to envision on these huge pop eras where they have tours. I like to envision a tour opener, and I was always envisioning this as the tour opener with the like little dun 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 dun, dun, and I could see her like levitating up. Like I can just see it in my head right now. But it wasn't, so great. Uh,
Great.
uh, what?
Great.
Yep, great. But that's my Holy Trinity. Yeah.
Yay.
Yay.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, why you go? Yeah, sorry.
You're good, Levi. Okay, so here's where I'm at. Number three, Pretty Please. I mean, it's just so good. I like that on the album. It breaks it up very nicely in terms of its placement on the album, and I also think I really love the way it builds, where it's just like it starts out with her voice, then the bass, and then the clicks, and then it keeps building and building and building until like by the end, it's just like it's just so groovy. Very, very solid. I like how it uses her voice, kind of going back to Maria's point about like her voice and the way she uses it on different songs. I really like the way it's used here. It's very snappy and I really, really like it. So Pretty Please is great. My number two is Levitating. And I mean, that's just gonna be like it will be at weddings until we die. Like that is like the new wedding song. It's so, I mean, it's so fun. And I mean, like, it's one of those things where, you may have the tendency to write it off just because it's like the most popular song, arguably, from the album. But it's just like going back and listening to it, like, again, it's just like, I get it. Like, this is like, I remember when I first listened to it, I was like, this is amazing. This is so good. So, Levitating is number one. Oh, I'm sorry. Levitating is number two. My actual number one is Love Again. It's like a black sheep on the album in a weird way. It's so strange and different from like everything else. It's like, I get why she placed it right before, or I don't know if it was her or whoever, but like placed it before Good and Bad and Boys Will Be Boys because it's like half ballad, half like dance number, and it's just really really great. I love the bridge. The bridge is fantastic. I like a good bridge in a song will always make me very happy, and this one has a great bridge. um I love the sample that they use. That's really incredible. And yeah, it's just I like the emotion of it as well. Yeah, I think it's the one where it's like the most like because she talks about like wanting to make songs that like you can dance and cry to it at the same time. It's like Love Again is very much like that. And I think it's like such a great embodiment of uh what she's been on record as saying. It's like she was wanting to do with the album. So um yeah, so Love Again is my number one.
Yay.
I like that song. It's a good song.
Hmm.
My number three, I've been going back and forth between one song and another song, and one of the songs has been mentioned already and one hasn't. So I'm going to go with the one that hasn't been mentioned. So that would be the title track, Future Nostalgia. And it's largely because I think it's really funny.
Oh,
It makes
totally.
me laugh so hard. You want a timeless song? I want to change the game. There's also, okay, I know it sounds like I've been dragging her a lot, and this is going to sound like a drag, and it's actually not. It's a compliment. I love how delusional I think the song is because this was written pre-Future Nostalgia. So when she was like primarily known in America for that like funny video, and I love that that person wrote a song saying, I know you're dying trying to figure me out. Because I just don't know if we were all dying trying to figure it out. But I love that she thought that we were. I love it. I don't want her to change anything. And I love because Jeff's been doing the damn thing. And I love when she starts talking about architecture randomly. I love the thing that she says you can't teach a man how to wear his pants. Or she
Yes.
says she's just
Yeah.
really kind of saying whatever, but the production is so cool. I love the future, future
Mm.
nostalgia. It's so cool. And it again, it makes me laugh. I think it's so funny.
That
Um,
song was a huge highlight live too. She
Mm.
did it in a weird spot in the show. She did it as like the encore,
oh
but she just came out in that like the popular like bodysuit that she wore, the spangled body.
yeah,
She just sang it with a microphone and a microphone stand. Like there
oh
was no production with it or anything, and she just
sure,
like went ham. It was
sure.
so good.
Mm.
Yeah, no, I think this song is so fun. So that is my number three. My number two is Don't Start Now. I
Mm.
think this was a phenomenal lead single pick. The cowbell rules. I think that it is, to me, like listening to the record, it's such an obvious lead single. There's just this like glossiness about it that I think kind of sets it apart. And like the way that like the groove glides through the song, and then the way that like it like swells and builds in the chorus and by the very end when it's just so big and it's awesome. And again, cowbell rules. Cowbell should be in every song. And my number one is Physical. Physical is just an awesome pop song. I love how big and dramatic it is. That's my favorite part of the record. I think it's at its best when it like really leans into the drama of this kind of music that it's referencing and playing with. I love the callback to Olivia Newton-John. I love like the kind of like chant along, scream along quality that the chorus has, and then that like breakdown in the bridge with just the percussion is so cool. I love that like opening like synthy bass line, the do 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 do. It's so cool. It's very kind of just like sexy and it is a little weird, but it's also really just like interesting and cool. And yeah, it's a great song. So that is my number one.
Good
Yay.
pick. The
Yay.
music video for Physical
Oh,
as
the
well.
music
The
video is
music video rules.
everything.
The
So
music
good.
video
So
Directed by
rules.
good.
Canada. Well done.
Yeah, the music video is awesome. Okay,
Hey.
so the time has
Utensil
come.
time.
We're breaking out the utensils.
Mm.
Yes, time for our album ratings. Um,
Mm.
should we go in like the same order
I
or
think we should make our guest of honor go first.
Yeah.
okay. Okay.
So
So I
Wyatt
gotta, okay,
Tong,
do you
Wyatt
Wyatt
wanna,
tongue.
Tong.
why Tong? Okay, so thank you for having me. And I will now give my rating in Wyatt Tongs. So look, as I've gotten older, in my old age, I have started to more and more and more try to not get too critical of something because as all four people know on this call, like making something, whether it's an artistic endeavor or a like career endeavor or just personal goal, anything, it's really hard. It's really hard. And so when I'm like, when I was like 15, I would always just be like, as evidenced by my earlier reference to my conversation with Maria about movies. It's just like I like, get way too hyper, like I will defend this until I die. And then but again, it's just like I get older and I'm like, you know what? I'm just thankful that this exists. And it's honestly amazing that this thing is as good as it is and is so and as enjoyable as it is. And like props to everybody who worked on it, not just do it, but like the entire team behind it. It's just like really well done to everybody because it's like pulling something this clean and memorable and fun off is like not an easy task. And it was like a multi-year effort, I'm sure. So um, as a like well done everybody, I will award this album 10 out of 10 Wyatt Tongs. My only so far guest rating 10 out of 10 Wyatt Tongs. I know it's a high score. It's a perfect score, but I believe it deserves it because I'm just thankful this album exists.
I am
Love.
always an advocate of leading with your heart when it comes to album ratings, hence why I give anything I like a 10. So I'm very much in agreement with this.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
not the
yeah, yeah.
score, but the thought
Yeah.
Right,
behind it.
but the
The
vibes.
thought behind it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, how about we do switch up the order a bit? Maria Spoon.
Okay. So, like I said before, I love this album a lot. I don't always go to it all that much anymore. But I still really like it. I have fun with it and really appreciate it. Um, since we've had another Dua Lipa era since this, there's like a certain aspect of future nostalgia for me that like feels like I like almost that like she's still growing through this and like we have a more mature Dua with like the radical optimism era. So like, and this is my own perception of it and definitely doesn't mean it's true, but like having had another era after this, like there's a certain like veil over this that almost feels like a little bit immature to me. And like I don't mean that in its literal sense, but it just feels like, oh, that's like, it's a little bit more like frivolous. It was just like kind of like whatever, especially since a lot of these are just like like kind of whatever, like songs about love or like a song like Good in Bed, where it's like, okay, girl. So there's like something that always makes me look back on this and be like, oh, just having fun. But I don't know. I think I appreciate the maturity of radical optimism a little bit more. Um, but I'm gonna go in with this at an 8.3.
8.3.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, I can go next. So then Drew Fort can be last. Um, because I'm a kindness punk and I'm practicing kindness. Uh, yeah, I fear that I'm going to tank the score a little bit. I think I gave my reasoning. I think that like this album is well made in terms of like the production is very high quality. I think that it's very danceable, it's catchy, but I just think it lacks things that I look for in albums that really elevate them. I think it's lacking a central theme. I think it's kind of lacking a central like personality characteristic. So I'm gonna give it a 7.3.
That was a better score than I thought it would be. I was like, "Oh, he's gonna give it like a 2."
Oh my God, LOL. No, I can't even imagine what I would give it to. Like, I think it would have to be like poorly made, in my opinion. Like it would have
Okay.
to, there'd have to be like errors. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like spelling errors.
The lowest score I've given something is a 5.6. That's the
Oh,
lowest score I've given something.
well, wait, what was that album?
Oh, it's that's not
Not
important.
important.
That's not important.
Yeah.
No, we're
Drew.
gonna withhold information. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna give it a 9.0. Because I really like this album. Uh, yeah, just for everything that I've said. Yeah, 9.0 for
So,
Because
me.
of the
okay,
way that it is.
all four of us are in different numbers because we have
Yeah.
somebody who's a 10, we have somebody in the nines, somebody in the eights, and somebody in the sevens.
Wow.
That's pretty crazy. So we have an average score of 8.65.
Nice.
Pretty good. I will say though, if Wyatt hadn't been in to save the day and it had just been the three pop girlies, oh, that's still not bad. It's an 8.2. So actually, I didn't tank it as hard as I thought I was going to. Um, yeah, 8.65. That is
Great.
Not
that's the average
bad.
score. So there we
Yay.
have it.
Cool.
That's
We did
future
it.
nostalgia.
Yay! Well done,
Yay. Well, thank
everybody.
you so much, Wyatt,
Yes,
for
thank you,
bringing all
Yes,
your.
Wyatt.
thank
Thank you for
you.
having me, everybody. No, it's so good to be
Of
here. I
course.
love the Pop Girlies. I have your merch on my I have like the Pop Girly sticker on my fridge. I look at it every day and it makes me smile.
Thank you to
So,
our
Well,
sponsor, Marianne
perfect.
Welch, who
Yeah,
yeah.
provided the
Yeah.
stickers. Thank you, Mom. Thank you for that.
we
Okay,
live, we stand.
so now that we're ending August, we're getting back to just regularly scheduled pop girlies. Drew, where are we going next?
Yes, so for next week's episode, we are back to our on the ground reporting. So we have a huge pop girly releasing a huge album that's been highly anticipated for the past couple of months. So we are going to be doing A Man's Best Friend by Sabrina Carpenter. So you'll get the initial thoughts from your favorite pop girlies. So
It's
get
important.
ready to, and we don't really know much of, I mean, we know the titles and we know just the first track that's been out for a few months.
Yeah, do we even know who
But we
else
don't
worked on the album?
know, like we don't really know anything. So if you want the information, come to us.
Right, right. Don't seek it out for other
Honestly,
untrustworthy
listen to the
sources.
Pop Girlies breakdown before you listen to the album. Try
Yeah.
that. I
It's
mean, I
probably the
dare
way that
you.
Sabrina made it. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's how our sponsor Marianne Welch consumes every album that we talk about. She listens to the us talk about it first, then she
Well,
forgets everything
thank
we
God.
said, and then she listens to the album, and then she listens to the episode again
Yeah.
Honestly,
That's
queen.
awesome. That's really cool.
because that's time efficient.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yay.
Perfect.
Well, I gotta go get physical.
Well, I gotta go do a full 180.
I gotta go hallucinate.
I gotta love again.
There we go.
All right.
Yay,
Bye,
bye.
Shanti.